And as you take that comfortable seat, allow your eyes to close, your hands to rest on your lap. And feel the weight of your arms right next to your body and the heaviness of your legs and your pelvis. Allow the breath to flow naturally through the nostrils. And especially noticing the area around the thoracic spine, rib cage, and front chest. Try not to restrict the abdomen at all. Let it flow naturally. But just notice the upper torso a little bit more tonight. Noticing where the breath is moving in the body. And noticing where the breath is not, where there's a little bit of stickiness or stagnation. Turning the palms up towards the sky. Inhale, let your arms float upward towards the ceiling. Palms come together. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Holding any intention that you might have for your class tonight, for your practice. And as you exhale, release the hands and softly open the eyes and go ahead and roll the shoulders. Okay, so tonight's practice is focusing on the back bending, specifically the fluidity of the entire spine, not just moving in the lower back or the cervical spine. So I want to start on the belly, and I want you to use a prop of a blanket or a blanket, I think, for this first round. What I'd like you to do is take the blanket, and typically it will be open, come to this fold, and we might normally fold it in half this way. And you're welcome to do it that way, or you can make it a little bit higher by doing what we call a trifold. So it's like a little accordion shape, and that just brings it higher up off the floor. And then allow your pelvis to rest over the blanket. Pubic bone towards one end, hip bones toward the other. And once you're set up, let your feet be in a neutral position and your elbows being underneath your shoulders. So just resting here for a moment in Sphinx Pose. And I want you to notice your lower back right away. Press down through the tops of your feet to engage the legs, and notice how that might have taken any tension away from the lower back if you had any. And then now allow the exhale to draw the lower belly in slightly, supporting some of that lower back. And then from here, see if you can melt right around that rib cage area. Can you melt down without releasing the lower back? You might notice the shoulder blades kind of moving inward towards your body more, or the collarbones expanding. And then from here, go ahead and relax. I want you to cross your right arm in front of you so your forehead can rest on your arm. Your hips are going to be elevated on the blanket. So bend your left knee, reach around, see if you can grab your left foot. And from here, I want you to draw the foot towards the buttocks. And if you happen to notice that your pubic bone or your pelvis tilts upward, I want you to draw the pubic bone back down. As you inhale, push the foot away from your buttocks and lift your chest and head up just enough so that you are lifted. I don't want you to move your right arm. And as you exhale, lower the foot and lower the head. Inhale, push the foot away, lift the head. And then exhale, foot towards your buttocks, lower the head. The last time we push the foot away, we stay. Now press down through your right foot, top of your right foot, so you feel the leg engage and lift off the floor. Take a nice deep breath here. You're in a very mild back bend, active back bend. And then as you exhale, head down, foot to buttocks, one last quadricep stretch. And then carefully release your hand and your foot. Switch arms. And bring your right foot up to reach around with your right hand. Now, as you draw the foot towards your buttocks, I want you to notice if your pubic bone kind of lifts up slightly from the bolster, from the blanket. If so, press the pubic bone down. And then inhale, push the foot into the hand and lift that head and shoulders. Exhale, foot to buttocks, head to arm. Push away, inhale. And then exhale. Last time we stay. Push away and stay. Now, don't necessarily look up. Look more down towards your mat, so your neck is in neutral. Drawing the belly slightly inward, softening right around the rib cage. Press down through your left foot so that your left leg is active and engaged and off the floor. One more breath. Exhale, lower your head, bring your foot all the way back to your buttocks, and then slowly releasing and letting go. Now hands come underneath your chest and shoulders, push yourself up away from the blanket and come to tabletop. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, easy cow. So tabletop, toes under, lift the tailbone, lift the chest and the eyes slightly. Now notice how much your lower back is moving. Slightly engage the belly so it doesn't move so much. And see if you can't release more in the upper back. As you exhale, flip your feet, push with your arms, round up into cat, and really make space in that upper back. This is where we move from here in this rounded flexion. Flip again. Try to melt more through your shoulder blades and rib cage. Soft elbows help here. And then cat pose. Exhale, push. One more time. Soft elbows. Exhale and push. And now find someplace in neutral. Turn your toes under, downward facing dog. Heads above your shoulders. You're not quite so deep if your neck feels tight. Between your arms if your neck feels fine. Soft knees. Alternate heel presses. Finding your way into a nice opening for downward facing dog. And then slowly come on back down onto your knees. We're going to keep the knees right under the pelvis, and I want you to walk your hands forward on the mat and drop your chest and head down. So you're in an extended arm puppy pose. If this bothers your shoulders, you're welcome to bend the elbows, put your hands together. It's a little bit more forgiving to the shoulders with bent arms. If you can do straight arms, do straight arms. And so we're, again, thinking about how much are we collapsing in the lower back. Can we lift the belly slightly? See if we can melt a little bit more through the rib cage. Imagining your sternum moving to the floor, but you're keeping your belly toned slightly so that you're not overly moving that lumbar spine. One more breath. And then inhaling, coming up, walk your hands underneath your shoulder. And then pick up your right hand and step forward with your right foot. Fingertips on the mat. You're going to inhale and look forward, let your hips drift forward. Good. Exhale, switch your hips back, nice long front leg. Inhale, knee forward, hips forward. Keep your fingers on the mat. Exhale, rock back. Last time, inhaling, knee forward, look up or forward. Exhaling, rock back. And then knee to over ankle, pick up your back knee and step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, come all the way down and switch your legs out. So right leg goes back, right knee on the floor. Keep your fingers on the floor as your knee tracks forward, hips travel forward, eyes come forward. Exhale, extend the front leg, hips back. Inhaling, knee over ankle, heart up. Exhaling, sitting back. One more time. And you're just moving, kind of coaxing the body to move and unwind. Knee over ankle, back knee off the floor, stepping forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come all the way down. Let go of your head and neck. And then inhale, come all the way to stand, arms out to the side, palms come together. Exhale, hands at your heart. Pause here. Mountain pose. As you inhale, rise up, reaching the palms over your head. Exhale, fold forward. Right leg's going to step back in a kneeling lunge again. This time, hands are going to come up and towards the sky, palms facing forward. Now, keeping your pelvis back a little bit, keep the belly lifted. See if you can lift your rib cage and move a little bit more, thinking of extension. And then if you have the freedom to let your pelvis start to move forward. If you're tight like I am, your right quadricep is going to talk to you and it's going to want to pull on your lower back. So don't let that happen. Exhale, release and come down. Pick up your back knee and step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, lower all the way down. Left foot steps back, left knee. Inhale, rise up. And then again, back up a little bit from that hip, forward hip position. Reach up out of your waist, shoulders down the back, and then maybe gently the tailbone and the pelvis move forward. Find a place where you can feel something happening, but you can stay there. One more breath. Exhale, lower down. Pick up your back knee, step forward. We're going to inhale, come halfway up and interlace the fingers. Exhale, hands to the sky, head to the floor. Knees can be soft here, especially if you have any tension, any issues with your lower back at all. Release your arms, sweep forward as you inhale, come all the way up to standing, hands to the heart. Inhale, come up again, and exhale, floating forward. This time, left foot steps back first. Knee comes down on the ankle. Right hand to your right thigh, left arm's going to come up. Now again, back up a little bit. Press with your right hand to lift up more the left, and then see if you can tip forward at all with your pelvis. So there's this visual you have in your mind of your knee, and it's all the way in this like sweet little small crescent up towards your fingers. Exhale, lower the fingers and lift the back knee. Take a twist to the right. Feel the body opening up slowly with each and every movement and each and every breath. Exhale, lower down and step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come all the way down. Let go of the head each time. And then right leg steps back, knee down. Left hand on your left thigh. Inhale, rise up, arm comes up. Then back up a little bit. Reach more with that right hand. Push into your left arm. And then see, can the hips travel forward at all? It may be one side feels like, yeah, it can, and the other side, no, not so much. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Pick up your right knee and twist open to the left. Back leg nice and strong. Belly nice and toned. As you exhale, lower the hand, step forward. Inhale, come halfway up, interlace your fingers. Exhale, hands high, head low. Again, the softer your legs are, the more the knees are bent, the more you're going to affect your spine. Now from here, allow your arms to release and wrap them around the backs of your legs. Now you might need to bend your knees to do that. I can hold my elbows, but depending on how long your arms and torso are, you may or may not. And then press through the heels, lifting up your sitting bones. Don't let go of your body. So the head is really long here, and breathe into your back body. Feel the expansion through the back of the ribs. On your next inhale, softly release your arms. Sweep your arms out to the side. Come all the way back up to standing. And hands to the heart. From here, take your arms up over your head, clasping your left wrist. Bring your legs all the way together. You're going to lift up and laterally bend to one side. So it's a nice crescent. Again, thinking about a movement that's coming all the way from your ankles all the way up through your wrists. Good. Inhale, come up. Switching your sides, lift up to come over. And even though we're talking about back bending, we're looking for all ranges of motion through the spine and the upper torso to get the most effect. Good. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, float back down. Soft knees if you need them. Step back, downward facing dog. And taking the breath here. Shoulders drift down and into the back. Kind of feel that juicy place with the shoulders. They're not up by your ears, but they're not locked on your body either. They can glide, right? And then play around with heels down. Maybe rotate the torso a little. See where there's stagnation and sticky spots. Inhaling, coming forward to plank pose. Nice, easy action here. Exhale, back down to downward facing dog. Good. And then we'll take a walk or a hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come all the way down. Arms out to the side. Inhale all the way to standing. Now keep your arms up over your head this time. Bring your feet all the way together like we did earlier. This time we're going to go a little bit backward. So I want you to squeeze the legs together, lifting up out of your arms. Now I keep my head kind of right between my arms here. And as you inhale, get longer. And as you exhale, start to draw your fingers or your knuckles along the ceiling as if you're trying to draw a line backward. But you're not changing the position of your head. Your head stays lined up with the rest of your body. So if your spine is extending a little, your head is back also. Keep squeezing the legs, tailbone heavy, and go where your edge is. Take one more breath. Inhale, come back, soften legs, separate, and come down to forward fold. Now from here, take your left leg back. We're gonna stand up in a warrior one stance. So knee over your ankle, back foot down. Same hands as the first time. palms forward. So when we were at a kneeling lunge, we had these same arms. Find your position where you want to be, and then flip your hands around so the palms face the back of you. And then take your fingers to the back of your head. Squeeze your elbows toward the midline. And from here, push your head backward into your fingers enough so that your elbows feel like they're wanting to come up towards the sky. Now, you might move an inch. You might move 6 inches. What I want you to notice is, are your elbows in the same plane? Are they in the same line? Breathing. Good. Exhale, release, let go of the arms, and interlace your fingers behind you. This time, shoulders on your back, lift the arms and fold forward to the inside of your front leg. Head dangles, arms nice and high, back foot rooted, front knee over the front ankle. Release the hands right on the inside and outside of your front foot, and then straighten your front leg. Take a breath here as you inhale and lengthen your spine, exhale and fold forward. Let go of your head. So straight legs ideally, but you know, this front leg, we're talking to the hamstring, and it might not want to go all the way straight initially. Take one more breath. And then bending your front knee, pivot off your back heel, step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come all the way down. And take the right leg back, same thing. Warrior one stance. Rising up with the palms facing forward. Once you get up here, make any adjustments you need, especially around your shoulders. And then flip your hands, put your hands to the back of your head, squeeze your elbows toward the midline. And then same thing, you push the head backward and the elbows rise upward. It's not really that you're going back, it's that you're lifting the front of the body. And what I don't want you to do is change your neck position. Keep thinking about keeping the head and the neck in one sort of lined up action, and you're moving more from the rib cage and thoracic spine. I can tell you in my own body, this side's really wonky. Feels super tight. My elbows aren't lined up. And so my right side body is a little bit on the stagnant or kind of jacked up side. Exhale, release, let go of your arms, come all the way down, fingers on the floor, straightening your front leg. Take an inhale and exhale, fold. Playing around with soft front leg. It can be straight, it just shouldn't be locked. Your front hip moving toward the wall behind you. On your inhale, bend the front knee, pivot off your back heel, this time downward facing dog. On your next exhale, knees to the mat. Let them be wide apart, toes together. Sit back towards your heels. We're going to do a little twist here. So I want you to flip your right hand palm up. I want you to slide your right hand as far along the floor as you can. You're going to be really leaning more to the left. And then let your right shoulder and the side of your head land on the floor. Take your left hand and put it on the top of your left thigh and push into your left thigh to turn the chest more. And then breathe. So we're really focusing a lot here on the thoracic spine and the rib cage and the connectiveness of the lower back and pelvis. So you might notice, wow, there's a lot of sensation going on. Shoulder and head ideally are on the floor, and if they're not, is where you would use a blanket underneath your head and shoulder so that your body feels more stable and grounded. After your next exhale, come back to center. Bring yourself back up so your head is higher than your hips, and pause here for a moment. And then we'll do the other side. So the left hand turns up. You reach really far on the floor to the right, and then let your left shoulder land, your head land. And then take your right hand up to the top of your right thigh and push down to turn the chest more open. And breathe. Feeling and sensing this side in comparison to the other side. And then on your next exhale, release yourself and come back up to center. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the beginning. And what I'd like you to do is you can use either your blanket that you had before, or you can use a bolster. Now we're going to do the similar action. So the higher you go, the easier it is. If it gets to be too high, it's almost a little bit too much. So you have to decide. My bolster is not that big, so I'm going to try it with the bolster. And you're going to take the bolster and put it underneath your pelvis. But this time, I'd like you to adjust it so that your pubic bone is just off the edge of it. So the pubic bone is off the bolster of the blanket, and you're more on your hip bones and lower belly. Okay? From here, palms down like you're in Sphinx Pose, toes turned under, and press through your feet so your kneecaps are off the floor. Now, for funsies, you could say, this is my chaturanga. This is me working in chaturanga. Not really, because I'm not really holding my weight. If you want to work a little harder, you can pull the belly up and float or hover just off the bolster and feel how much work is going on here. Take 3 breaths if you're with me. Legs are strong. After your next exhale, soften down. Relax your knees for a moment. Now take your right hand out straight in front of you. And I don't want it so far out that you're falling to the floor. You're going to keep yourself slightly elevated. Bend your back knee, reach around and grab your left foot. So we did this in the beginning. Press through your right leg with the toes turned under to keep the leg up and active. And on one movement, you're going to push your foot into your hand and push with this bottom hand into the mat to lift you up more. Now, depending on your body and how you feel, you can stay here, or you could walk your hand closer in and push yourself up so you're a little bit higher. Keep your back right leg nice and strong, and your left leg pushing into your hand to lever you upright. And your eyes can be down on the mat or forward. Think about how the bolster or the blanket is supporting your lower body while you can expand the upper body. Exhale, pull the foot to the buttocks, lower yourself all the way down as far as you can over the bolster or the blanket. And then let it release. Come back to the forearms and come back to 2 legs, turning the toes under, coming back to this forearm plank. Shoulders down your back, throat open. You can rest, or you can push into your hands and feet and hover just off the bolster. And breathe. 3 breaths if you're here. Noticing the intensity of your work, where your effort is, should be in the belly and the legs. After your next exhale, lower the hips, release your knees, and we'll switch sides. So left arm out in front of you, palm down, bend your right leg and reach around to grab it. Turn your left toes under again and push off so that the back leg is straight. And then at one movement, push the right foot into your hand and push with your left hand to bring your upper body into this crescent position. This is half bow pose or Vidyanurasana with the support of the bolster of the blanket. Keep pushing the foot, keep opening the chest, keep using your hand on the floor. Closer in pushes you higher up, further away keeps you lower. One more breath, big inhale and exhale. Come down on your elbow, release your left leg, pull the foot all the way into the buttocks. Good, release. One more time for that forearm plank. Palms together or flat. Toes turned under, legs straight. Feel free to hang out and rest or lift your belly. Exhale, pelvis up. So I'm hovering just off the bolster, pushing down through my arms, expanding through my legs, creating some stability. 3 full breaths. Allow the pelvis to land. We're going to do one more. You're going to pick up your left foot. And this is where you have to wiggle back a little bit on the bolster. Your pubic bone should be facing downward. And then reach around and grab your left foot. And then decide. So this is where if you're too forward on the bolster, you're going to fall on your face. Pick up your right foot and reach around and grab your right foot. And so if you're in the right place, you're resting more on your lower abdomen. You're going to push your feet into your hands to lift your chest up. Now this is no joke. There's a lot going on here. So find your way through it or not. Feel free to rest if you need to. Push your feet, lift your chest. So it's like a lever, right? If I let go of my feet, I'm going to fall forward. One more breath. And then exhale, carefully release. Hands back to the mat. Push away from the floor. And then go to downward facing dog. Finding your way with bent knees first. Letting your spine lengthen. Finding ease as you maybe press one heel down. Or maybe the other heel down. If you've got more fluidity in your body, both heels can go down. Belly draws in and up. Move from your thoracic spine. Breathe. And then after your next exhale, go ahead and lower down, knees to the mat, and take a little rest. Arms can be by your side, head can be down, so the body and the back feel full. After your next exhale, go ahead and rise up. We're going to find a seat. We don't need to sit on any props. And I want to make sure that you've got room behind you. So adjusting yourself as you need to. From here, take your left leg out and your right leg in. Still working with this area of the torso. We're going to take the arms up over our head. And then I want you to exhale, twist now towards the bent leg side. Hand on the floor behind you. Easy movement. A little bit bigger than what we had before. And then as you exhale, hands can stay down. Just swivel yourself around and reach to your long leg foot. You can hold it on the inside, you can hold it on the outside, or you can hold your ankle. So we're playing around a little bit with mobility and hips with the thoracic and the pelvis. Now reach around again behind you, land your back hand, and this time lift your hips up. Swing your top arm back behind you, as if you're trying to touch your thumbs to an imaginary wall. Exhale, hips down. Sweep around. Find your foot. Try it again. Sweep around, hand on the floor. Sweep the arm along your ear. Push with your left foot or foot on the floor and reach back. So we're trying to open the front body, especially around the chest. Exhale, lower down. And then this time, let's stay here. If you can grab the outer side of your foot, you're going to get a nice action all the way through your shoulder, rib cage, and back. Other hands on the floor, helping you to rotate and move downward. Nice deep breath here. On your next inhale, raise yourself up. And then we'll switch our sides. So the other leg goes out. And we'll do the same thing. So take the arms up over your head to encourage yourself to get long. And then twist so that you're around the other way. Just feel and sense this whole action in the spine. Release your hands and reach to your long leg foot. Remember, inner foot, outer foot, or ankle. Noticing this side. Reach around, back hand lands on the floor. This time, lift your hips and sweep your arm along your ear. And as you do that, reach back like you're trying to touch an imaginary wall. Exhale, hips down. Sweep around, find your foot. Last time, sweep around, hand on the floor, and lift. The foot on the floor, the shin on the floor, push. Reach back with your heart open. If you're feeling it in your lower back, pull your pelvis back slightly, move more through your upper body. Exhale, hips down. Sweep around, find your foot, and stay for a good 3 breaths. And feel the relationship between your thoracic spine down your back on this side. And then slowly and carefully release. And then one more here. Let's take the feet so that they're together, but they're away from your body. So I want you to open up the back body here. So as we inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold forward, let your body round. You can scoop your fingers underneath your feet if you have that freedom. And you're going to allow your body to kind of just cradle downward towards your legs. If your arms are underneath your legs and cradling your feet, you'll get a little bit more action around the upper back. Breathing into the back body. On your next inhale, release your arms and sit all the way up. Okay, so let's take your blanket that you had folded in the beginning. If it's still in this little triangle, like you got it this way, right? Make it short end and that accordion-like trifold and put it across your mat. So I don't want it so high that you can't do this, but I do want it high enough where there's going to be some effect. And you're going to let that blanket touch your sort of bra line area to your shoulders. Hold your head and then start to unfold yourself over the blanket. Now you might need to adjust slightly depending on how tall or long you are. And from here, see if you can move your hands away from your head and your head resting on the mat. If the answer is no, then don't do it. So the arms are going to be open if your hands aren't holding your head. Lift your pelvis up a little, tuck your tailbone, And see if you can't lay the weight of your pelvis more towards your sacrum. We'll stay here for about 3 breaths. If there's tension in your throat, that usually means there's too much with the head, so put your hands behind your head if that's the case. If you can move your head away from your hands away from your head, I want you to take your hands to the ceiling, interlace your fingers, and bring your arms up along your head, along your ears, and stretch. Now, if this feels all right, you can bring your legs down and bring them together. So noticing what you're feeling here, sensations in the armpits, sensations in the belly, sensations anywhere. In the last couple breaths, I want you to crisscross your arms and hold your elbows and allow the arms to get a little bit deeper in this action. So maybe they're a little lower to the floor. They're cradling your head. In this posture, you might notice more around your shoulders, armpits. Breathe. And then after your next exhale, release your arms, bend your knees. And if you're on the blanket like I am, just roll to your right side. Let your head feel heavy. Push yourself up away from the blanket. Okay, last back bend we're going to do is on the blocks. So, and this is where you're going to need your strap. You're welcome to choose any side. I'm going to ask you to choose maybe a little higher than what you're used to. So typically I will do the low side. I'm going to put it up on the middle side. If you have skinny blocks, put them together. Don't put them singularly. And find the weight of your sacrum on the blocks or block. Make sure your lower back is not pushing into the block. And then take your strap and take your feet up off the floor and wrap the strap around your feet and bring your legs straight up. Now, the best you can, I don't want your spine on the floor. So see if you can roll your shoulders under you so that the lower spine is, or the cervical spine is not touching. And then crisscross your strap. From here, grab the strap as much as you can and let the weight of your arms get heavy, still rolling your shoulders underneath you. So you're pushing the legs up into the strap. At the same time, I'm holding the strap and I'm not really pulling so much as I'm letting my shoulders and my arms feel heavy. This is Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall. You could also call it modified shoulder stand. And the two poses I never teach are headstand and shoulder stand, mostly because the risk to benefit ratio is too great, especially as we get older. This posture, either as we're doing it now or with your legs against a wall, has as much benefit. It helps bring energy and blood flow to the brain and the heart and the throat and thyroid, pituitary glands. Helps to calm the nervous system. Back bends themselves are very energizing and uplifting. And today we did belly down back bends, which are very grounding and energizing. And the reason we did back bending today is because I was inspired by this idea of spinal health being a representation of our total health. In the areas that are stagnant, which in the case of our spine is usually the middle back, forces the rest of the spine to overwork, so your neck and your lower back. So the more mobility you can get, the more you can break up that stagnation and that stickiness, the more freedom you have, the more ease, the more flow. After your next exhale, softly release your hands, bringing your feet down. Take your strap away. Feet come back to the floor. Once your feet are on the floor, lift your bottom enough so you can slide the block out from underneath you and rest. I'll just pause here for a moment before moving around. Just see what your body feels like. Taking your feet a little bit wider apart and your arms away from your body, go ahead and let your knees move from one side to the other. Nice and slow. Back bendings and those actions can feel hard, but they don't need to be hard to be effective. So what I always like to say is you find a way that it works for you. Tonight we used props. And people that have a lot of difficulty with back bends can find them in the props, which is such a gift, actually. Bring your knees to your chest. See if you can wrap your arms around your knees, clasp your hands or your wrists, creating a container. Your knees can be a little bit apart if that's more comfortable. Let your pelvis and your shoulders and your head feel heavy. Let your body feel the weight of itself on the floor. And with each exhale, letting the body feel heavier and heavier and heavier. After your next exhale, let your feet come to the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and just do an easy figure 4 stretch for your outer right hip. Find a place where you can hold your left leg, flexing your right foot. Taking a moment just to enjoy that deep stretch. That definitely affects the spine. In my opinion, most people that have back issues, especially lower back issues, they have tightness. And we worked a lot on the thoracic tightness, but you can also have piriformis tightness, which is what we're dealing with now. If this feels really good to you, you're probably one of those people. Go ahead and release your left foot and switch your sides. Finding a place you can hold your thigh, you can hold your shin, flex your left foot, soft shoulders, draw the legs towards you enough where you can feel and sense a nice healthy stretch in your right or left hip. And don't forget to let your body feel heavy on the mat. One more breath. And let your foot come to the floor. Stretch both legs down as you stretch both arms over your head. Big reach. And as you exhale, bring your knees to your chest. If it feels right, pick your head up to your knees. One more stretch all the way open. Big reach. And then allow your arms to release outward and downward so that your palms can be up. Let your legs be a little bit apart. Maybe put a bolster underneath your legs, supporting yourself in whatever way feels the best for you for Shavasana. Ideally, shoulders are underneath you and resting flat on the floor. Belly feels expansive and open. Chest is full of breath and prana. As you feel settled and you're done adjusting, take a nice deep breath And let your body just melt into the mat or into the floor. Let the muscles move away from the bones. And allow yourself to have this last few minutes of complete rest. Take a deeper breath. And allow that deeper breath to awaken you from the inside out. Start to stretch and move your body, coming back to your space around you. As you feel ready, you can bend your knees, roll to your right side, and make your way up to sitting. Once you're seated, hands on your lap, come back to the breath at the torso, right around the thoracic rib cage area. Notice if the breath feels any different than earlier. One of the ways we can really enhance our well-being and the health of our body is to work with deep diaphragmatic full breathing. And when we move the stagnation and the stickiness away from the rib cage and the thoracic spine, the diaphragm can move more, the lungs can expand more, and we have a deeper, more full breath. You might even notice the breath and the movement up around your neck and collarbones. Bringing your hands together, closing the practice in gratitude. Gratitude for you, showing up for you on your mat. The community that we have built together online, and for our own deep inner light. May our light always shine brightly, and may we always see the light in each other. Namaste.